And I agree with you, of course, when we talk about the Eastern Conference being a little bit deeper. And the team right now, by the way, what is Philly's odds right now? Because the team right now that feels to me like the dark horse in the East is the Philadelphia 76ers. And I know Joel Embiid has not made a conference finals, and they bowed out. They lost to the Hawks last year. I know all that stuff.
Do you really think this? I don't.
You don't think they're a sleeper?
No. Unless
you
something...
think that you think they're a favorite?
No, I don't think. I think there's a massive elephant in the room, and if that elephant does not get moved, I don't think Joel is on another planet. You could make the legitimate argument Joel is the best player in the world right now, but I don't think any of their depth has put them in a position where you could say they are in the same conversation as Milwaukee, Brooklyn, even Miami. I don't think they're in the same level as Miami.
$100 bet on FanDuel nets you $1,000 plus 1,000 odds on Philly to make the finals. I'm gonna tell you why, Tommy. Daryl Morey is now saying, with the way Joel is playing and has elevated us to basically contender status, we'd be doing a disservice. I'm paraphrasing here. We'd be doing a disservice to not look at trades for Ben Simmons. There's, I think, more willingness now to trade him for a non-top 25, non-top 30 player and get a couple good players back and some picks. To me, that's the smart choice. I don't know how you can justify wasting this year of Joel's prime.
I agree.
When things across the league feel fairly wide open.
I agree. I think but I just don't see any evidence that this trade is going to happen. When the trade happens, I think this is a totally different conversation. I think we can hop on 30 minutes after the trade is officially signed at the NBA, and I will probably be agreeing with your take, because with Joel in this current state, they should be in the conversation to be in the finals. There's nobody that can defend him in either conference.
We'll do another FanDuel segment when this trade does happen, Tommy, and we'll see what those finals odds are.
Did you pull their finals right now? They're plus 2,100. They're still behind the Lakers
to win it all. You're saying
win it all. The Bulls are 2,200. Yeah. So here's a team that is playing great right now, that still feels like a good deal. Is Dallas is plus 4,600.
I thought you were going to say the Miami Heat, and I was going to tell you we've talked enough.
No,
about
but
the Heat
the Heat are plus 1,600. The Heat are actually, that feels like a pretty fair placement considering all the different moving parts that they have. Dallas is closer to Boston and Atlanta right now in terms of the public perception of them. And it feels like defensively they've definitely taken a jump.
Well, since Luka got back, I think they're the number one defense in the league. They're playing great. They're winning. To me, they're still a piece away. They're a team to watch around the trade deadline. Mark's aggressive. Again, it goes back to this. You've got a generational talent in Luka Doncic. You've got a generational talent in Joel Embiid. These guys are capable right now, whereas some young players, and I'm not going to name the young players, but there's some young players, and by the way, this is not a shot at John Morant. I'm not saying John Morant. John Morant is capable of being the number one guy on a championship team. It's not John Morant. But there are some young players around the league who get a lot of hype that I don't think are capable right now in their career of being the number one guy on a championship level team. Luka is that. Joel is that. Take advantage of that year. There's a window right now. Take advantage. Be aggressive.
I have one question before we go to the convo with Kevin. This gets back to the Milwaukee conversation. Is there a guy like PJ last year? Is there a guy who's a vet who you feel like either through a buyout or a trade, not based on like things you know are going to happen or anything like that, but you feel like can be added to one of these teams and can make a difference? Because that's why it's so tough to really say these things definitively now. Is PJ made a massive difference for them last year, and I think that happened in March or something like that.
Right. I think his trade may have happened pre-deadline. I think it happened a few weeks before.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. It just felt like maybe it happened a few weeks before. But what I was going to say was there's one guy in particular that always comes to mind, and it's Eric Gordon, who despite some dysfunction, despite some losing, has been an absolute pro this year in Houston. His numbers are good. His efficiency numbers are good. We know he can guard. We know he can space the floor. We know he can be a tertiary or a secondary option on offense. That's what championship level teams are looking for at the deadline. And Houston's not going anywhere. So he's the guy that. Hey, look, trade deadlines rarely swing things in favor of a championship. It happens, but you're really looking you're not looking for foundational building blocks necessarily. You're looking for those ancillary pieces that are going to sort of get you over the hump. I think Eric Gordon is the guy.